So the Bulls have Coby White, a point guard, and a lot of people have said that that was kind of the need for Chicago because while Chris Dunn is a good defender and I think he can be a good piece of a team, can't really be your primary ball handler, right? Doesn't have the burst off the dribble, doesn't have the shot. Playmaking is intriguing, but you got to be able to make shots unless you're amazing at pretty much everything outside of that. So now it seems Coby White might be the day one starting point guard. You have to assume that's what the Bulls would be hoping for, and then Chris Dunn can have a reserve role, which I think he can be pretty good in. So let's talk about this. The things with Coby White that are interesting are that, number one, he's really fast. Two, you think he has potential off the ball and coming across screens and using handoff plays to take three-pointers because his three looks pretty good. He shot 35% on over 200 three-point attempts. He shot 80% from the free throw line on 130 free throws. Kind of checks a lot of the boxes for a guy being able to make shots. Now, even so, his release is a little low, which is a bit of a fear against bigger NBA defenders, but I think he'll be all right. And you hope that with his craftiness off the dribble, which does still need to get a little better, but it's pretty good right now, you think he can create space, he can beat guys off the bounce, he can play in the pick and roll, which can, of course, get all these Bulls shot makers open shots because there's quite a lot of these guys. Between Otto, Levine, Markkanen, and Wendell has shown some life as a shooter a bit. So that's all pretty good stuff. And I do want to say some nice things about the Bulls because when you dive into their numbers since they got Otto Porter, it's pretty good stuff. They went from being a team that was occasionally terrible to, with Otto, I think they were like 6-8 or something in the games he played. And the lineup numbers are pretty good. Like with him and Levine and Markkanen, I don't remember if they were positive, but they weren't horribly negative either, which I think is progress for a team that won however many games the Bulls won this previous season. And even then, we should remember the Bulls had injuries. I mean, Wendell played about half the year, Markkanen a little over half, but still not that much. Levine played about 60-something, and he was a lot better than I thought he was going to be. So there's reason to think the Bulls can kind of be good here, and maybe Coby White is the answer. Now, there are some fears. Coby, he's a good passer, but he's definitely not amazing there. Can improve, sure. And I do think he's maybe the best playmaker on this team, unless Chris Dunn's passing is actually just like kind of great. Again, the assist numbers would suggest there's something there, but we have to guess Coby's going to have the ball more. So, is there a chance that it'll just be one too many dudes who like to shoot the ball because Coby definitely likes to take some shots? Yeah, I guess that could be a fear. I mean, Levine, while, again, very good season for the guy, but he likes to shoot. Otto's going to take his shots. Lowry's going to take his. But the thing to be potentially intrigued with is, again, Coby's shooting. So if Levine is taking his guy off the dribble or whatever, I think Kobe's pretty okay with spotting up and playing off of that. So the Bulls could have some nice versatility with their offense, where one possession we could see Levine just take a guy on an ISO. Next possession could be a Coby White, Markkanen pick and pop. Possession after that, we could see some sort of off-ball thing with Otto. So they definitely have options. It's going to be a matter of seeing if Jim Boylan can draw up some stuff. Now, even so, the amount of shot making that I think they're going to have, I think puts them at a pretty decent floor on offense. I mean, I think Lowry can make contested shots. I think Otto can do it. I think Levine can do it, pull up threes and things like that. So assuming that Kobe's shooting carries over and Wendell just doesn't suck, and I think there's a lot of reason to suspect that he does not suck on offense, then yeah, I think there's definitely things to be excited about there. Defensively, if we look at Coby, I think he'll be able to respectfully defend point guards. he's almost 6'5". He's got a 6'5" wingspan. He weighs about 190 pounds. He's a decent athlete. Probably not going to ask him to switch too much, but I think he can hold up, assuming he can get around screens and just know how to play defense. Now, of course, I think Wendell's ceiling defensively is pretty damn high, so he's going to be able to plug in a lot of the holes that this team may have on that side of the floor. But I don't think Coby is going to be the problem if this team sucks on defense. Honestly, I don't think they should suck on defense. I mean, if Wendell's out there and playing the whole season, and Lowry can just respectfully defend fours, which I think he can kind of do, and Levine gets better, and Otto just kind of does his thing, because I don't think Otto is a big problem on defense, and then Coby just ends up being not bad, and then you have Chris Dunn, who can come in there and be a very good defender. I think that can hold up. I mean, I do think the Bulls have something in place here where they can be a pretty good team. I guess the fear is, like I mentioned earlier, if your two primary ball handlers are Coby White and Zach LaVine, two guys who can make passes but are not playmakers, then we might see a lot of just bad shots, and maybe the guy who should really be taking the most shots in this team, Lowry, just goes too long of stretches where he's not shooting and things like that. That could be the real fear. I mean, for as good as Levine was this previous season, again, I acknowledge he put up numbers that I didn't really think he'd be able to put up. There is a fear that, it's empty calorie numbers, I guess. It's kind of the Devin Booker argument, and I find myself being pro-Devin on that particular conversation, whereas with Levine, I don't think enough time has passed yet for me to really just be like, oh no, Zach LaVine's awesome. So, I don't know. Basically, I think the positive spin on Coby White to the Bulls is it gives them another dude who can do stuff off the dribble and make some shots. And the negative spin on it is anybody on this team going to average more than 5.5 assists a game? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I like the pick. I mean, if you look at anybody else they could have selected here, I just think there would have been too many bodies in one spot. If you went with a big, you already got Lowry and Wendell. If you went with a wing, you got Porter, you got Levine. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could make an argument that if you took Cam Reddish, you could have some small ball 4 stuff off the bench, but do you really want that out of your top 10 pick? I feel like you want a genuine starter. So, this team needed a point guard, needed a guy who can be a good playmaker and freak out defenses with the potential of actually hitting a jump shot, so it makes sense. Again, I do really like Chris Dunn off the bench. I feel like he can be a Marcus Smart kind of player for them. And hopefully Coby White doesn't suck.